in April edition. Now, this is very close to my previous trading price guide, but the reason I'm doing this now is because there has been a lot of major changes with some of the most expensive mods in the game, and a lot of people have been asking me about these prices. So instead of answering the same question multiple times to multiple people, I'm going to do a video so you guys are aware. Now, the order of this will be slightly different because we're going to cover the major change mods first, and then we'll go over the classic stuff. So for some of you guys who have been following me religiously, you will know when to stop, and for those of you that are new, first of all, obviously welcome. And this is going to be a complete trading price guide, so pretty much everything you need to know. Now we're going to go with mods first because these by far dominate the market. Now the biggest change recently would definitely have to be your impact, slash, and to a slightly lesser extent the puncture mods. So all these of course are event mods, and I'm not gonna go search for every one of them hopefully, but as a bit of a heads up, so with your slash mods we have obviously buzzkill for melee, there is found fusillade for rifle, sweeping serration for shotgun, and maim for pistol. Now obviously these were in the most recent barricade here, and the price right now on the market pretty much go for 100 platinum each. Every once in a while you will see someone who advertise a buzzkill for 450 plat. Every once in a while you see someone who advertise buzzkill for 1000 plat, and we all know what to do with those. You put them on ignore, problem solved. But yeah, 100 plat each is very reasonable. In fact, I'm selling any slash and impact mods for 100 plat each. So the impact mods would be your collision force, your full contact, your obviously I'm not the best with names, so your crash course, so collision force for melee, crash course for shotgun, full contact for rifle, and pummel for pistol. So again, I'm selling all those ones for 100 platinum each as well. So feel free to PM me in game. I do usually play every day. Now the puncture mods are a slightly different story. So the puncture mods are piercing caliber for rifle, bore for pistol. You got ogre strike for melee, and we have a shotgun one as well, which I can't. Breech loader for shotgun. That's right, breech loader. So now the price of these ones have going pretty much everywhere. Piercing caliber, which I've sold all my supply, I've sold at 200 plat each. For bore, breech loader, and ogre strike, now these go anywhere from 100 to 150 plat. The reason they're going for a bit more is because they were actually never released with Barracuda, but they were available at a event, the one with the multiple hacking and the Bursa and the assassination. I think it's called Shadow Depth, one of those. So they were farmable, but they were pretty hard to farm. The drop chance was, I think, pretty reasonable. I did do a video on that back in the days if you guys want to check that out. So it is farmable, but it wasn't that easy. So 100 to 150 plat per mod. With piercing caliber, the rifle one going at 200 plat quite easy. Now these kind of non-elemental based damages are definitely the biggest change. Previously they were going much higher, but yeah, now they're a lot more manageable. Now the other biggest change, surprisingly, even in the past couple of months, are these actually primed mods. Now primed mods, I would say even a couple months ago, they were going around about 600 plat for maximum and 100 plat each for unranked. Obviously, for a very short period of time, there was some controversy or guesswork on whether Barracuda was going to return or if it was gone forever. Prices kind of got destabilized for literally about 45 days. And then when Barracuda returned, and then everybody knew he was going to come back at this stage, as far as we're concerned, indefinitely, the price of these prime mods actually pretty much dropped significantly. So a unranked prime mod when Barracuda is around go literally as low as 30 to 40 platinum. And a previously available unranked prime mod pretty much go around 50 to 75 platinum. Now that versus a 100 platinum back in the days, regardless of what mod it is a pretty big decrease. But the biggest decrease that we have actually seen are actually maxed prime mods. Now, we all know about Triton, we all know about Pluto Dark Sector. So this particular map have been played extensively by certain farmers, and the way it goes is with excavation at rotation A or B, you do have a chance of getting rare 5x5 drop, and because you get the about 20 plus K credit drop per round of this, people are playing this map like crazy, and as a result, I feel that's definitely one of the reasons why prime mod prices have decreased dramatically. Another reason is because we haven't really seen too many new prime mods recently, so that would partially explain the drop in price as well. Generally, prices these days, you can quite reasonably get a max prime mod around 400 to 450 plat. Now, versus a 600 to 650 plat a couple months ago, that's about 2/3 of that price. Now, what's more surprising is if you look at rare rank 10, so things like your heavy caliber, blind rage, transient fortitude, those really popular ones, never minded. Back in the days, when I say back in the day, I literally mean even 4 months ago, they were going about 400 plat each. These days, they're pretty much just not in the market anymore because people that want to have it, people that don't want it, well, they don't want it kind of thing. But as far as price of those ones, we'll get into shortly, it's about 350-ish. So max prime mod being 400 to 450, it's really, I guess, the customer friendly price. The only issue you do have to keep in mind with these ones is you do need to pay 1 million credit tax, which is pretty easy for us veteran players that do raids and sorties, but for the rest who may be starting off, it could take a while. Now those are definitely the biggest changes, so I do want to get over those ones first. Now we'll talk about sort of our, I guess, everyday kind of mods. So of course our basically other rank 10 mods. So let's get the rank up. Alrighty, so a couple different sets. Now the crap mods, never mind the blind rage, transient fortitude, and heavy caliber. Now these guys are, like I was saying, go about 300 to 350 plat generally. Occasionally you may be able to get at 250, but the demand and supply have both dropped quite significantly. So 300 to 350 is pretty normal. Now the biggest change, I guess, in a relative term, so percentage-wise, would definitely have to be something like Serration or Hornet Strike, so your uncommon mods. Now, these days, these mods are pretty much going anywhere from 100 to 150 plat. You just don't see anything harder than 150 for these kind of mods, which is quite surprising to see. With your common mods, so your things like Redirection, Vitality, these max rank 10 commons, again, you just don't see this in the market these days. But as far as prices go, pretty much 80 plat. I haven't really seen these around too many, but I've been able to buy and sell around 80 plat each. As you can see, I actually haven't been selling much. I have quite a big supply, but yeah, about 80 plat is very reasonable. So these are definitely, some of the biggest changes. Now, another range of mods that have somewhat changed compared to say 6 months ago, but since then actually have somewhat stabilized in the past couple months, are the corrupt mods. Now, and when I say corrupt mods, which we have Warframe wiki here, so I don't have to search everyone up, I mean these mods mainly unranked. So other than the rank 10s, rank 5 or even less, it really doesn't cost that much to rank up, and it really isn't worth that much more as far as plat prices go. So to our unranked prices, now the popular ones, so things like Blind Rage, Fleeting Expertise, Narrow-Minded, Overextended, Transient Fortitude, Heavy Caliber, not so much Vicious Spread, but yeah, definitely the ones that I just stated, those are easily going around 25 plat each unranked. Other ones such as Vicious Spread, which is not as popular, but with the advent of Vaker Heck, excuse me, have come a lot more popular. So this one's got about 20 plat. The rest of these guys are generally undemanded, right? People just don't really ask for them. Occasionally you get people asking for a few shotgun ones, but they're generally just not asked for. So they're going about 10 to 15 plat each. And since the newer corrupted mods, so things like Creeping Bullseye came out along with a few other ones, the classic, so the kind of high demand ones, drop chance actually have decreased dramatically. Now this obviously happened a few months ago, and as a result the prices of these ones have kind of increased since to back in the days, but have somewhat stabilized now. Alrighty, so we might come back to Warframe Wiki later on if we need it, but other than that, we'll drop that. Now, another group of very common mods, I suppose, would be your aura mods. Sorry, we'll talk about augments first. So with augments, they're pretty much all going for 10 plat each. Now, I'm with New Loca as well as Parent Sequence, and I sell all my augments mods, either weapon or Warframe at 10 plat each. I sell them just continuously. Whenever someone asks for it, I put the price up 10 plat each, and people just buy it. So it's 10 plat each. It's stabilized for the past, I would say, half a year or so. Occasionally in trade, you see someone selling for a couple plat less or a couple plat more, but 10 plat is definitely fair and reasonable. And when I buy these kind of mods from other syndicates, I pay 10 plat. So that that's pretty basic. Now, as far as the aura mods, we have not seen a new aura mod for a very long time, right? And we definitely haven't seen any useful aura mods for years. So all aura mods, you're pretty much looking at 10 plat each. Occasionally, for whatever reason, some desperate folk will probably pay about 15 plat for things like corrosive projection, which is arguably the most popular one and debatably the best one. And of course, energy siphon will probably come as second most popular, but again, 10 plat, definitely no more than 15 plat. Now, none of these are ranked more than 5, so even you get a max rank, you can add a couple. Well, when I say couple, I mean maybe 5 to 10 plat, but it really doesn't worth that much maxed. Now, as far as your rear 5 fusion cores, 1 plat each, that's still going very strong with that. It haven't really changed much. Occasionally, again, with Trident or the Pluto Dark Sector, you might see some people selling for slightly less, but the only issue with that is you don't really want to waste a trade for anything less than 5 plat, not to mention the time you invest into selecting 5 of these per trade do get into some people's nerves every once in a while. Now, I'm not going to talk much about Kubro mods. I literally have not seen anyone advertising or selling Kubro mods for the past, well, at least half a year. When these ones first came out, people were after sort of the max rank 10s, but since then we all pretty much figured out Kubros are inferior for in-game gameplay versus Sentinels, i.e. the Carrier Prime. It's just, yeah, not around anymore. Now, the last, I guess, exclusive event mods that we have around are Syrian Steel and Magma Chamber, so the dual stat Arcwing mods that came with the event long time ago. Now, unfortunately, Arcwing, despite its initial greatness, and I still believe Arcwing is great, they just need to put in some pretty damn good rewards in there to make it worth playing, and probably a few more game modes to make it really fun. But other than that, Arcwing definitely have the potential, just need a bit of rework. But unfortunately, it's just not that popular right now. But even then, these mods have been exclusive for a very long time. So both Magma Chamber and Syrian Steel, I'm selling them at 250 plat each, and I think that's a very reasonable price. Now, as far as Arcwing mods in general, I think the thing with Arcwing mods, people don't really play Arcwing, but they kind of want to collect. So occasionally, you do see, some people who advertise they want to buy kind of every single Arcwing mod. So Arcwing Gun, as well as Arcwing Melee, generally as a rule of thumb, minus Syrian Steel and Magma Chamber for rare, I kind of sell it at maybe 15 to 20 plat, with uncommon 10 plat, and with a common just 5 plat each. Now, the last group of mods which actually have become really easy to talk about are Nightmare mods. So Nightmare mods are things you get obviously from a nightmare mission. Now the most rare ones are obviously hammer shot, blaze, as well as anemic, not anemic, armored agility. Now we'll actually bring up wiki here, so it's just a bit easier for me to show that to you guys. Let's have a look. I guess Arcware Nightmare mods. Now, yeah, so the most rare ones are hammer shot, blaze, as well as armored agility. But even then, because they've been around on alerts quite often, they're pretty much going around 10 plat each. Now, these are the rarest ones. So if we talk about anything else, like I guess the popular ones would be Constitution, Focus Energy, Shred, and Lethal Torrent. So these are definitely the other popular ones. They're also going about 10 plat each. The split being a lot more popular. The remainder ones, and these ones, I guess, still get asked every once in a while, are things like Rending Strike. Very rare, but I have seen it, once in a blue moon. The other one's Veigar. I guess for newer players, Veigar could seem quite attractive. And occasionally Animal Instinct. So those ones, maybe 5 plat each. The rest, I just don't see it being requested. Like Seeking Fury, Fortitude. I've just never seen, like Stunning Speed. What the hell is that? I've just never seen these ones being requested. Accelerated Blast. No one even asks for these mods anymore. So that's a nightmare, guys. So I think that's a pretty comprehensive list on nightmare mods. Now, the next very popular category that is very common in trade are your tradable weapons. So these include obviously barricade tier weapons as well as your syndicate weapons. Now, as a rule of thumb, syndicate weapons you can get anywhere from 20 to 25 plat per syndicate weapon. Now, if you compare that to how much a mod costs, which is a quarter of the rep, it's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool, I reckon. Now, I've actually got a couple requests of people asking me to talk about the Syndicate primaries because I've actually never had a chance to make a video on that. They were released when I wasn't very active, so if I, depending on how you guys go. In fact, actually, leave in the comments below if you guys do want me to go over the Syndicate primaries, I will do that. I won't do a video for each primary. I'll probably do one video to cover all the primaries because some people still don't really fully understand the full benefit of these ones, and it's definitely worth talking about here and there. But yeah, things like Cyanoid similar, so Syndicate primary or even Syndicate secondary, which has been around for a long time, 20 to 25 plat easy. For your barricade tier weapons, so things like Prisma weapons, your Maradetron, these ones are going about 100 platinum. I'm selling these as of, well, currently for 100 plat each. If they don't show up for another 4 months, I'll probably increase the price to about 120. If they don't show up for a year, I'll probably increase the price to 150 each. Now, another topic that some people have asked me about here and there, which have become a bit unpopular recently, are these arcane helmets. Now, arcane helmets, especially I guess with raid and your arcane augments now, the arcane helmets just become less and less popular. So I'm not really going to talk about prices of these because people just go crazy with these ones. But as I guess a rule of thumb, I definitely would not spend more than 100 plat on a helmet, regardless of what it is. Now, as far as the arcane ones go, I don't recommend buying any arcanes because you need 10 of the same one to max something out. And even with the cheaper ones, the Arcane Guardian, definitely one of the cheaper ones, you're pretty much looking at least about 30 plat each. So if you need 10 of them, you need 300 plat. When you go 300 plat for a maxed set, and all you're getting is a bad effect that sometimes activates if you fulfill the conditions in a PvE game that give you minimal benefit, i.e. it doesn't really give you a advantage or much of an advantage over other players since it's not PvP. It's just not worth it in my opinion, so I wouldn't really buy them. I mean, sure, if you play a little raid and you collect it, craft it, sell it, whatnot, it's fine, but I wouldn't buy it just because it's not worth it at this stage. Now, as far as lenses go, it's very simple. You buy, you sell, you trade. it's all fine, but when you buy and sell, it's 5 plat each. Now, just remember, 4 normal lens create a greater lens, and you need 40 plat to buy a greater lens from the market. So in that sense, when you see people selling one of these ones for 10 plat each, I'd almost want to put them on ignore, to be honest. I mean, it's just crazy. So yeah, 5 plat each is very fair and reasonable. Now, as far as prime parts go, this is actually quite an interesting thing because with the newest Prime Axis or Siren Prime, so with Siren Prime, Spira Prime, as well as Nakana Prime, these prime parts actually have gotten a bit destabilized. So we'll actually, talk about this in a bit of detail. So we'll talk about the newest stuff with Siren Prime. Now, Siren Prime, as far as a set goes, is going around 200 plat, with the most expensive item being Siren Chassis. Now, I'll actually show you guys, I'll actually teach you guys, or point out to you guys how this stuff actually works, so you guys can actually assess for yourself with future prime accesses. So if you look at Siren Prime, now if you look at where you get these products from, so you get Siren Prime chassis, which is the single most expensive item in trade right now. Even today, the chassis is going around 80 to 100 platinum just for the chassis, and the set is going about 200 plat, even though it's not really worth that much. Now, the reason chassis is so expensive because we're talking about endless mission, that's rotation C. So basically, with rotation C on a survival, so you got rotation A is 5 and 10 minute, rotation B is 15 minute, and rotation C is 20 minutes. So you have to play for a long time to get that. So all rotation C rewards, that's T3, T4, tend to cost quite high because it takes a long time. For some players that are fairly new to the game, it's quite hard for them to get it. So it costs a bit more. Now, the Blueprint helmet chassis, zero cost minimal, so pretty much 10 to 20 plat. The system and helmet definitely 10 plat. The blueprint maybe 20 plat. The blueprint costs a bit more because it comes from T3, T4 key, not because it's actually hard, but it's because it's hard to get these ones, right? Especially T3 guys. Some people still have T4 from leftovers from back in the Syndicate days, but now it's very hard to get these keys, so as a result, these ones cost a bit more. Now, T1, T2 keys are dropping like crazy, so it's very popular to get them, even if the drop chance is quite low, which for the system, it's not. It's very cheap. Now, on that note, on memory, I believe the system is about a 20% drop chance, whereas something like the chassis, even on rotation C, is about a 5% chance. Now, that's not actually uncommon because when DE releases new products, they usually put at least one of the parts on something like a rotation C, and when they do that, they tend to put it on like about a 5% drop chance. And the reason for that is quite simple. They want to increase plat prices. So they're trying to make people spend money to buy plat so they can obviously spend it and then buy these parts. If the drop chance was much higher, plat prices will be lower because supply will be higher. And so yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just a simple supply demand. Now, and then we'll talk about Spira Prime. Now, Spira Prime is a very interesting one. We haven't really seen a weapon like this as far as trading goes for a very long time. And what I mean by that is this is extremely difficult to farm. But it's a very weak weapon. It's horrible, right? It's absolutely horrible. So the result of that in trade is basically it costs a lot because it's hard to farm, but the demand is very low. So when people buy it, they do offer quite a decent amount. For example, these days it's going about 200 plat per set. But it's so weak, so you don't actually see that much demand for it. But because it's hard to farm, the price is quite high. So if you look here now, none of these are endless rotation C rewards, but all the keys are quite hard to get, and as a result, we pretty much see it's exactly what you expect. So the pouch is probably the cheapest at around 25 to 30 plat each. The blade and the blueprint easily go around 40 plat each. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much common sense. And lastly, we'll talk about Nakana Prime. Now, Nakana Prime is actually an interesting one. Nakana Prime, as said here, has the highest base damage of all one-handed melee weapons. So it's definitely a top-tier weapon. It's one of the strongest, and as a result, it is very expensive. Now, because it's only 3 parts, the set is going around 160 to 180 platinum. But as far as individual parts go, it's actually going very crazy. So the hilt is going around 60 plat. The blade is going around 50 plat. Now, the reason I see the blade going a bit cheaper, despite being a rotation C reward, I think it's because it is in a T2 survival. Now, the drop chance for this is very low. I've played literally around 20 rotation C T2 survivals, and only then did I get the blade. So the drop chance is quite low, but because T2 survival, one, the key is very easy to get, two, you don't get nullifier, so the mission is a lot easier. I kind of feel it is that much more common for players to get, so the price is not that bad. Now, Blueprint, it's again, T3 Exterminate is a fast mission, but the key is hard to get, so generally it's again go around 40 platinum-ish. So, from that, I think you guys can kind of judge or how to judge prime part prices. Or if the prime part is good, it is in high demand, prices are a bit higher. If it's a rotation C, it tends to be a bit higher. And if it's a T3, T4 key, it tends to be a bit higher. And obviously, there's a drop chance difference between 5% and 20%. But the thing is, most players aren't aware of that. And I kind of feel the drop chance doesn't play as big a role as the rarity of the key as well as the rotation of the reward. Now, other than these new prime parts, as far as the old prime parts, obviously you got the Trinity Prime systems, which is still very popular. I mean, I still haven't got my Trinity Prime yet because the Trinity Prime system is still going strong at around 60 to 80 platinum. It's a drop from T3 mobile defense, and as a result, I've just been selling everyone I've got. Now, obviously, that is attributable to Trinity being one of the best frames in the game and having a very unique role with, well, having two unique roles with Energy Vampire as well as Bless. So these are the, I guess, popular currently available prime parts. Now, as far as the voted prime parts, we actually have seen a lot of differences. Now, as a rule of thumb, with voted primed weapons, so things like your Border Prime, Electron Prime, and Secrets Prime, I would say a set is worth around 100 to 150 platinum, regardless how good a weapon is. As far as individual parts go, I'll probably try to sell it at 50 platinum. More often than not, you'll see people not buying it because it seems a bit expensive, but I do feel that's what it's worth, and I do get to sell them at around that price. As far as voted prime parts go, voted prime Warframe parts go, it's again going all over the place. Now with Frost, because we did see a return with Frost, the set is going anywhere from 350 to 500 platinum, with individual parts of Frost Prime going around 50 to 100 platinum. Now, as far as Ember Prime is definitely the most expensive voted Prime right now. So Ember Prime, the set is, honestly, I don't want to say it because I don't want to believe it, but the set is going anywhere from 500 to 800 platinum. I've never sold it at that price, I've never bought it at that price, but that's the price that I see it being advertised by different people continuously. I'm gonna go with that. As far as individual parts go, a while back you probably seen me selling a Ember Prime system for 100 platinum, and I'm gonna stick with that. So Ember Prime system, about 100 plat, the helmet and blueprint, possibly around 50 plat each, and the Ember Prime BP, about 300 to 300 platinum. Yep, I just said it. Back in the days, I was selling the BP, for 5 to 10 to 20 platinum. These days, a single Ember Prime BP, just the main BP, 300 to 350 platinum. There's some crazy people out there, I don't know why or what the heck they're thinking, but they're willing to pay for that price, and I'm not going to comment on that. Now, other than that, we get Mag Prime as well as Rhino Prime. Both Mag and Rhino Prime, the entire set is going around 300 platinum per set, with individual parts again going around 50 to 100 platinum, with Mag parts going around 100 platinum more often, and Rhino parts going around 50 platinum more often, just because Rhino was only recently voted. Now, these are definitely the most common ones. As a rule of thumb, most of the other prime parts are pretty much around 10 plat each. Some maybe around 5 platinum. Occasionally, you see the people buying slash selling. They call it junk prime parts for 1 to 2 plat each, which is perfectly fine. They're obviously duplicate folders. Another couple of things that I guess I will mention on the side are one, the Nova Prime system. For some reason, we've seen an increase in price on Nova Prime system going around 60 to 80 platinum, as well as the Ash Prime system, which is around 30 to 40 platinum. Loki Prime system have pretty much dropped down to around 10 to 20 platinum. And the last, I guess, worth mentioning one is the Victus Prime Receiver. That one's still going strong at around 40 platinum. Nothing else is really that real or worth mentioning at this stage. Alrighty, so that's pretty much all I wanted to mention about trade. Now, I think that's a pretty comprehensive trading guide. I hope that answered all your questions. The main takeaway from this, I suppose, for some of you guys who may not be playing the game as frequently as some of us, are the Impact, Slash, and Puncture event mod sets. Those have decreased in price dramatically, so anyone who's trying to sell you $1,000 per set, just put them on ignore. They're not being ignorant, they're literally just trying to rip you off. Alright guys, as usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions on any price that I haven't answered here, leave in the comments below. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.